mostly mild weather in the forecast for the afternoon. I have details coming up.
Well, the federal government is proposing new restrictions for the food stamp program. The Agriculture Department wants to limit access to food stamps for 3 million people who only receive minimal government benefits. The USDA says it's trying to stop a loophole in the system. And the Trump administration is also introducing a new order that would deny green cards and visa extensions to immigrants who receive public benefits, including food stamps. The state of California is among a number of states who have filed a lawsuit against that order. A recent study from the Urban Institute says 1 in 7 adults in immigrant families did not apply or dropped out of benefit programs for fear of risking future green card status. Join us now to talk about all of this and the services that are available to immigrants. We have Paul Ash, he's the executive director at the San Francisco-Marin Food Bank. Thanks for coming in.
Glad to be here.
So let's talk about this. We've talked about this issue really over the last couple of years when it comes to immigrants and seeking food and help. There's been a couple different levels of this in terms of the communities you're trying to serve. Where is your biggest concern with what has happened over the last couple of years and really these latest developments that just happened within the last week?
Well, even the threat of rules like this, public charge rule, has caused people to drop out of the program or not sign up. So we're already seeing people come to the food bank saying, I used to get public benefits. I'm not getting those anymore. I'm afraid to. And what can you do to help us? So we're seeing even more people come to the food bank.
So there's been several levels. I've known there's been concern about how it's funded, right? Would the SNAP program and what's known as the SNAP now, the food stamp program, be funded? Yeah. But also then it was the legal immigrants who were saying, if I come, will now my family members be checked? And now it's legal immigrants who can come, right, but saying, what if I get kicked out later or I lose my green card because of this? How does that affect how many people you serve? I mean, how many people, how many immigrants do you think the San Francisco-Marin Food Bank is actually serving right now? It's hard
to know what number of our recipients. We don't check things like that. We try to feed everyone who says they need our assistance, but we know there's a lot. When people come to the food bank, they don't have to worry about being checked and being some mark against them, so that's not really an issue. But we've seen even the fear of something like this among legal immigrants drive them away from getting the help they need.
So is it messaging now? I know we talked a lot about that. I mean, I've done stories with you guys in the past where you put up messaging at food banks saying, here is how it works, so you can still come in terms of just making sure the relationship that you guys have with the people you're trying to serve is preserved in this process.
Well, we worry about that too. Sometimes, even though we put up those kind of signs and we give that sort of message out, that people say, well, who knows? I didn't think getting food stamps was going to be a problem, 2 years ago. Now that's a problem. So by signing up for something at the food bank, is that later on going to be an issue? So we want to assure people it's not. We're not a public organization. We're a private nonprofit organization, and they don't have to be fearful of using our services.
You struggling to get them to believe that?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes some people are just going to say, no, I'm not going to take the risk. It's too important for my family to go through this immigration process the right way.
So how do you feel in the big picture as immigration really becomes a very partisan debate in Washington? You were saying, feeding the hungry has in the past not been a partisan issue. People from both sides of the aisle said when people need food, we want to help them. Are you seeing that really change in recent times?
Absolutely. There have been great Republican leaders for food programs in Congress. This administration doesn't seem to feel that connection with the fact that this country is the world's greatest food producer. No one should go hungry. We should never drop below that place where we feed everyone who's here.
So what do you do then? I mean, how do you change and where do you see this going in terms of your mission and how you have to work with the government to make this happen in some part to get these programs and get them to people. You don't operate in a vacuum.
Well, there are some legal challenges to this. So we're hopeful that the state of California, some of the counties, some of the organizations that work on immigration issues will be successful and maybe at least pushing this back longer. But for us, it's trying to create a relationship with people where they know they can safely come and get the food they need. And hopefully we can advise them a little bit on how they can get involved in other programs, like school meals is unaffected with this. And so there are other ways that they hopefully can get the food that they need.
I know some people also have advocacy groups in D.C. working as well as in Sacramento, trying to also get lawmakers to change positions. Is that work also actively going on?
Absolutely. There's a movement in the Congress right now to try to not provide funds for this public charge to be rolled out. So by using the purse strings, there's an effort to try to control it.
So your just basic emotion yesterday when this latest development, or this week when this latest development happened, and this new idea.
It's sad. It's jaw-dropping that we would choose to go down this road of trying to take away food from people. There are families where there are citizen children, where their parents will withdraw from that program, and so citizens will not get a benefit that they deserve to get.
And the hungry will remain hungry.
That's right, and we know what that means. That means poor schoolwork, that means parents skipping meals, it means diet-related diseases. There's nothing good about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Paul Ash, thanks so much for the work that you guys do at the San Francisco-Marin Food Bank and getting that message out of the help that is still available and waiting. Thanks so much. All right, Rosemary, 8:20. Let's